Ciao, everybody. Welcome back to the Bianconerizone live at 5. My name is Julian Gennady, and I'll be with you soloing today. We are going to be doing some transfer news talk about Juventus because a lot of stuff coming out today in the newspapers, as it should during the international break. If you would like to, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like the video, and join me because we'll be taking a good long look at the right back position, especially because we have a lot of names in that realm of position. Like Malo Gusto, Adriazzola, and the likes. And we're going to go into a deep dive there. We're also going to be talking about Milinkovic-Savic and what we saw with the really poor, I'll say, source, what they said today about him. Tutto Mercato Web, they're not usually good. And yeah, I'll do a Q&A as well. We'll probably stay on for about 45 minutes or so. And then we'll move on to tomorrow and the next day when we start teeing up the World Cup. So, again, subscribe if you want some World Cup news and content on here. But for now, we're just going to do standard Juventus transfer news. As we know, everybody is on their international break for now. So first we got Nicolo Schira, who is coming to life now, is saying Alvaro Adriazzola has been offered to Juventus in the last days. The Spanish right fullback could leave Real Madrid in January, but he's not a Juventus's main target in this role. You'll see who the main target, you'll see what's the reported main targets shortly when I list them off. Malo Gusto from Lyon. There's also Rick Karsdorp from Roma. I think we all know the situation with Rick Karsdorp. And I keep seeing the Swedish guy called Holm. I have no idea who that is. I didn't add him into our deep dive, but we'll get into him all as well. I also saw Pedro Porro, which is excellent. I like Pedro Porro a lot. And we also have Jeremy Frimpong coming in to our deep dive into right backs. Yeah, Unholy Fun, what's going on? No live yesterday. Sorry. Just nothing to talk about, really. We know coming into the international break, coming into the World Cup break, that Juventus is now third place in Serie A. I think that was the best case scenario, to be honest. We've gone 6-0 in our last 6 games. And when I go and address these right backs, we have to think about long-term outlook, because these last 3 games, since the Retiro, since I'll say the end of September, we've gone 3-5-2. We've gone 3-5-2, and it is what it is. But will we continue that when everybody's back and healthy from the World Cup starting January 4th against Cremonese? Because we'll have most likely we'll have our full fleet of players, and is a 3-5-2 the way to go from this point on for the rest of the season? I'm almost going to say yes, but then we'll have to see what January entails, because before we get into our deep dive, I think one player that's expendable, meaning we should sell them pronto, is McKennie. I don't see him playing when everybody's fit. I don't see him, and I see him getting a decent little profit, especially if he has a decent World Cup. If he has a decent World Cup, then I think you can end up selling McKennie for... Also, by the way, he trained today with the U.S., so he could have probably made the bench on Sunday against Lazio, but whatever. A lot of players like that for a lot of teams across Europe. But McKennie, I think, is expendable. I think he should be sold. Now, do we want Sergei Milinkovic-Savic? Obviously, you can't deny the player. He's exceptional. He wasn't good on Sunday, but he's never really that good against Juventus. But do we want that type of player and spend more money in that position, or do we want to spend the money else? If we even have money, spend it elsewhere. Because as you see, Fagioli, good player. Moretti, good player. Locatelli, good player. Pogba should be a very good player. And Rabiot's been very good. So I would still spend the money on Milinkovic-Savic, because that's one of those players. I remember last year we were talking about, well, where do we get this money to get Vlahovic? He is an undeniable talent. And when you have an undeniable talent and you can make money for these players, then you go out and get them. So like Vlahovic is undeniable talent, you go out and buy him. Cool, I get it. Milinkovic-Savic is an undeniable talent, so I think you still go out and try and get him if he's available, if you guys accept, or if Lotito and Agnelli accept the deal, or Carabini, who's going to be doing the transaction. I think you do it still. I know that you have Fagioli. I know that you have Moretti. I know that you have Locatelli, Pogba, Rabiot at this moment. But you can't. It's an undeniable talent, and you can't say no to him, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. I see people are commenting now. Like the video. I know there's 22 in here now, so like it. Not enough likes yet. Aldo says hi. Over Artist says, do you see the SMS news that we're making a $50 or 50 million euro plus bonuses bid? We're talking about that now. Also, I don't believe the source, so we're just speculating at this point. It's the international break. Stuff's going to come out. Let me know what you guys think. Is SMS an undeniable talent? Should we bring him into the club if we had the opportunity to? I still say yes. Unholy Fun saying Allegri got coach of the month. Yep, good for him. He's going to be probably at the tail end of our discussion. We're going to talk about Allegri. Aldo saying 3-5-2 has been working. Not sure how we start the season 2.0. So obviously in January, but I don't think we should make the formation to fit all the best players on the pitch. We need good players from the bench too. Yep, that's fine. Fair. Javi says yeah. Aldo says SMS for free at the end of his contract, rather by fullbacks. Well, we'll get into the fullback talks soon. I promise. But yeah, SMS is, I still think, do you want to wait another year to get him? He'll be, I think he's born in 95. So next year will be 2024. So he'll be almost 29 by the time he's free. I don't know. Over Artist says, I would take him, Pogba, and would be deadly. Yeah. Hanin says, I want him for free. Screw Lotito. yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Aldo says we will need to put a horse in Lotito's bed to make this deal happen. Unholy Fun says I would go for a left back, right back, or center back. I don't know how to do polls on here. No idea. So I'm gonna ask just the general chat. What's the biggest priority? Is it center back? Is it full back? Is it I'll say wing back now, just because we play with 5 in the midfield as of at current state. Midfield or creative player or striker. What do we need desperately? If we're playing 3 at the back, we need a center back. We definitely need to improve in that. Aldo saying right wing back, and Unholy Fun saying I would invest in Pau Torres. He could completely change our defense. Yeah, left center back in particular. So a left-footed left center back is the player type, that player profile we should go for. I was big on Pau Torres in the summer. Instead of Gabriel, like I wanted Gabriel as well. I'm not going to say I made a mistake with that, but like Gabriel would still be better than Alexandro still. But I still want Pau Torres over Gabriel. So I want Pau Torres to come. He's going to start for Spain. You know his pedigree. We played him in the Champions League. Everyone knows who Pau Torres is. I think that if we're doing a list and Aldo brings up the next guy, the list in the summer, or our next left center back we should go for is Pau Torres first, and then Nditsa from Frankfurt, because of how cheap he would be. So plan A should be Torres, plan B should be Nditsa in that position. Javi says right wing back we need. Yeah, you know what? Might as well get to it. Mark saying no to SMS, spend the money elsewhere. CB and fullback are priority number 1. It's funny how everybody wants these center backs and right wing backs, and I get it. We have the best defense in the league, but we want more defenders, and I get it. It's been 15 games, but it's still funny, and the fans are smart. You guys, Juventini, are smart. You understand what's going on. We still need to upgrade that department of our team. Even though we've done so well so far defensively, we still recognize that we need more and better quality at the back. Like if you throw out a center back trio of Pau Torres, Bremer, and Danilo, crazy. What an upgrade. if you throw out and then just think about that, like now we have Sandro, Bremer, and Danilo. That's like, oof, yikes. But like think one center back can change the whole complexion of the team. So, and then you have Gatti as the fourth guy. That depth is perfect because we've seen Gatti do very well in the past month or so, and this is his first full season in the top flight. So you knew it was going to take a while. Oh, chat's going off here. All right. Over artist saying SMS is great. I want him, nobody else. Aldo saying, but we really need a replacement for Cuadrado. Oh, absolutely. And again, I'm teasing it. We're going to get into that. Hanin saying, we wait and see what happens to Pogba, in my opinion. If he flops, we try SMS. That's fair. That's a fair comment. Umut is saying, I think Gatti will be a great defender if he gets more playing time. Yeah, and you'll see that. Obviously, I think he's a Wish.com Chiellini. His touch is terrible, but he's just a pure defender. But his touch is terrible. He's a pure defender, but he can spray passes very well. Meaning, like, he can ping a long ball accurately. He's a weird mix. And I'll get into the defensive metrics probably in a later video. Our expected goals against is quite high, to be honest, considering how many we've actually conceded. And I'll get into that after, but we'll see. Lassie is saying Di Maria is gone in the summer. We need a quality winger. So there's another position we need, and I think we knew we needed to fill a bunch of these spots. We still do need another midfielder because we're not going to be able to afford to keep Rabiot, and that's huge. So we need a destroying, athletic monster of a central midfielder that's willing to do the dirty work to replace Rabiot, because he's been pretty much the key to Fagioli and Locatelli's success. Locatelli's been looking great recently with those two beside him. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. January, we were promised nothing, and we got everything last year. This year, again, I think Nedved said nothing's going to happen, but then Ariel Bene said, yeah, we're going to hopefully do well in the winter, and we'll see what happens. So we'll see. Miles Johnson saying, could Pogba and SMS fit in the same team, though? I have no idea. That's a very good question. Someone's going to have to do the dirty work. Do you start Rabiot, Pogba, and Milinkovic-Savic, and then peace out to Locatelli and Fagioli? Crazy. I think we got enough. Yeah, we got quite a few people now. Let me know if you guys can all see, because I'm going to share a screen here and get into right wing back comparables and who you want as fans. So obviously you can see my screen there. I've picked six players. Well, obviously I had to include Cuadrado, but 5 players we've been linked to heavily this summer or this winter or this fall going into the winter transfer window. So I've seen Frimpong's name brought up, Pedro Porro, Alvaro Odriozola, Rick Karsdorp, and Malo Gusto. And obviously Juan's there. So this is standard stats. I'm going to point out before we go any further. Also, like the video, people. Come on. But this is Odriozola's numbers are from last year from Fiorentina because he hasn't played a single minute this year. The rest are from this year, including European competitions and including their domestic leagues. That's why you see Frimpong at 20. Some people are at 15. Some people are at not that many because they didn't make the European competitions. So another thing is that we point out all six of these players have the ability to play 3-5-2. And I already see people saying no to Karsdorp. I get it. He was linked and he's a right-sided player. I get it. I don't want him either. But he still has to be put in here for the sake of the comparisons. I know nobody wants Karsdorp. And I know that he is probably the least wanted player on this list after Odriozola and Cuadrado. The 3 names that are interesting are Gusto, Porro, and Frimpong. Gusto has been flip-flopping from a 3-5-2 to a 4 at the back with Laurent Blanc. He's 19 years old. I think the reported price is 15 million. Odriozola would be I think a dry loan. I hope a dry loan. Same with Karsdorp, and then Pedro Porro is quite expensive. Pedro Porro is before I say that, it's between Frimpong and Porro for the best out of the lot, but I like Pedro Porro a lot. But I wouldn't mind Frimpong or Porro out of this list, and Gusto would be like, okay, whatever. So out of this list, I want to know what you guys think and what your thoughts are. And you can give me other names too. Like I already see Umut saying Joachim Miley over Karsdorp. Yeah, absolutely. I'd pick Quadrado over Karsdorp. It's not. I don't think that's a fair comparison because again, Karsdorp is only here because his name's been talked about even by Nico Schira. So we're gonna go down to. I don't think we should worry about the shooting, even though we can see Frimpong is clear in this regard in terms of finishing goals, expected goals, and all that stuff. Frimpong clears out these guys in this regard. Again, not that we care about shooting. We do care about shooting as a fullback because they will get into the positions where they could score a goal. Think of a guy like, remember for Inter, when we played Inter and a couple of games ago, and Denzel Dumfries missed a chance in front of the net, open goal. Maybe if that's Frimpong, it's 1-0 to Inter if he's on that team. So it does matter, but it all depends on how attack-minded you want your wingbacks to be. Because if you have Kostic and Frimpong there, it might not be the right balance. Lassie saying Gusto has a nice hairstyle. Yeah, he does. And Aldo saying we should get somebody in the mold of Quadrado who can play wing also. Oh, there it is. Okay, I prefer someone who can play wingback and fullback because we can just address the winger if we need a winger. Because right now we're using Di Maria as a center or as a second forward who plays off the main striker. And if we're not going to be doing a 4-3-3, then I don't want wingers, like just pure offensive threat wingers. I'd rather a player who can play off a center forward in a 3-5-2 if we're transitioning to that way, because I'm not sure what we're trying to do. I don't think the coach knows either at this point because we never had the full team yet. So if we're going to go 3-5-2, I don't want a traditional winger. If we're doing a 3-5-2, I want a player who can play wing back, who's responsible defensively and can contribute in the attacking third. So it seems to me Frimpong is the best attacker in terms of providing goals. We'll get to the assists in a bit. I think we're going to passing now. Oops, a little bit too far. Sorry, I'm looking through this in another way. But you see here the passing. It's crazy because you see Quadrado with the most progressive passes, which is actually, you know what I should do? I need to go per 90 because they might have just played longer minutes. Yeah, see, Male Gusto has the most progressive per 90, most progressive passes. So that's not bad for a 19-year-old. He likes to get up in the attack. We go down. Goal and shot creation is a main thing if you're going to play wingback or fullback now in the modern game. D. Fuccarino, 21 says Frimpong best option for me, but the also most expensive. He is really fast, which we can use. I say it's worth it. I think Pedro Porro will be the most expensive because he's worth 45 mil release clause. I think we can get Frimpong for a bit cheaper unless other teams that are way more wealthy get involved. Mark would love DiMarco from Inter. That's left-handed side, so I don't. We're really focusing on the right today. Well, in this exercise. Aldo says, if we will buy, then Frimpong. Yes. Or Porro, in my opinion. Or Gusto. Olaf Acosta says, sounds silly, but maybe Illing Jr. can be converted to fullback. To a wingback, yes, maybe he could. Olaf, that's not silly at all because people have put that out there. He likes to be direct and to attack. I don't know if he is responsible enough defensively. We will have to see what happens. He's played, 23 minutes total for the club. We know nothing about him defensively. We know he likes to dribble and attack because we put him on in desperate situations. So let's see what we have in him. Let's not just identify him in places where we have no idea what we're talking about. Unholy Fun saying, okay, we bring back the ball then. Maybe. He would actually fit now. He would fit perfectly under Vlahovic in a 3-5-2. The crazy thing is, that is. Haneen saying she wants a player who can play fullback in the future. And I sound silly. Okay, I sound silly. Simon K says get rid of Rabiot because of salary. Sell McKennie. Okay, so we definitely need a midfielder then if Simon K gets his way with selling McKennie and getting rid of Rabiot. Javi saying if Juventus is going to buy Frimpong, how much Juventus will have to spend for him? I don't think he'll play at the World Cup because I think Denzel Dumfries has that position locked down. And I'm not saying Frimpong's worse than Dumfries or Dumfries is better, but that's how the Dutch national team works. I think Frimpong, if he doesn't stand out at the World Cup, which I don't think he will because he won't play as much. And by the way, this channel is doing a under 23 World Cup scouting show. Players who are under 23 that I would like to bring to Juventus. We're doing that. So stay tuned for that. And Frimpong will be on that list. But I don't know. Frimpong, 25, 30 million? I'd say. Simon K says, buy SMS and a good defender. Sell Bonucci, Quadrado, and Sandro. Those guys are going to eventually leave for free. They're not going to be sold. So, there it is. Olaf said, okay, Olaf's talking. Haneen saying, Lola Quadrado has the highest shot created actions per 90. Does he? Oh, he barely beats Porro. That is also because he takes free kicks. This includes free kicks. So, Haneen, I get it is funny, but we have to take into consideration that this does include free kicks. As you can see, the SCA type pass dead ball 12, whereas Frimpong has nothing. Porro has 5. Odriozola had 4 last year, and Karsdorp had 3 this year, and Gusto hasn't taken one. So, taking into that consideration, if we took that away from the actual number, which is 59, he'd be at 47, and he'd be tied with Frimpong. So there you go. Lassie saying Odriozola linked up really well with Vlahovic and Fiorentina last season. Maybe. He was okay. Umut saying players who play like Illing usually suck at defending. I think he's a pure attacking player. Yeah, we'll see. Again, he's played 23 minutes. He's played 23 minutes for the first team, and I know he plays on the left-hand side for the next-gen team and the U23s, but I've not seen him having to defend in spurts because we like to soak up pressure in the first team, so I don't know. Maizio says, Pavard, too expensive. He's young enough and experienced. Funny enough about Pavard, I don't really like Pavard, but he wants to go play with Giroud, apparently he said today, or in an interview recently, that he wants to go play with Giroud. So that's Milan. That's not us. Mark saying, thoughts on Sule? I've not seen anything from him in his limited time. At least there have been flashes with the other youngsters. Thoughts on Ferran Torres? So Sule, I think it's tougher from a pure creative attacker. Like Illing Jr., his main job was to get the ball wide and dribble at people. Sule's main job is or what he likes to do is drift and collect the ball and drive at people centrally and create centrally. Think of him as a Di Maria slash Dybala Wish.com version of them right now. Whereas Illing Jr., Fagioli has to collect the ball, and he's not just strictly judged on making stuff happen in the attacking third, even though he has been Fagioli or Miretti. But like Sule, no one cares about what he does defensively. So they're focusing strictly on what he does in the attacking third. And he did do well in spurts. But yeah, it's going to take time. He's 19. It's going to take time. Give him some time. And then Ferran Torres, no. We don't need him. Umut says, what about Meunier? No thanks. He's older and he proved he couldn't do it at top clubs. So he wouldn't be good for Juventus. Well, he'd probably be fine for Juventus, but like we want someone younger and better. Hanin's saying just keep Cuadrado. He has the best stats. Again, let's go defensively. Let's check it out more. Let's check out more defensive stats here because they are going to be defending per 90s. Let's have a look. Tackles. I want tackle percent. Where is that? Right there. Rick Karsdorp's actually the best at tackling. I think that's an inflated rate because he's only played 7 games. Yeah. Pedro Porro is actually very good at defending one-on-one situations. But he gets dribbled past a bunch. I would take Frimpong in this situation. I would take Frimpong. Cuadrado's a mess defensively, as we can see there. 56% dribble or tackle success, and he gets dribbled by at least once per game. So Frimpong looks the best to me. Just by looking at stats here and comparing. Mark says like the video. You're absolutely right, Mark. Who hasn't liked the video yet? Like it. Forza Juve says get rid of Rabiot because he hasn't started trying it hard until he wanted a new contract. And we'll get into that eventually too. This is pretty much a right back session today we're talking about, and the Milinkovic-Savic news and that Swedish kid who I have no idea about. If anyone knows who that Swedish kid is, home, let me know. I guess I could probably type his name in and look at it myself, but we're just looking here for now. Mark says, I prefer the 20 to 30 million young purchases than the big money investments. Frimpong would be that. Porro would be 45 million because that's his release clause. Gusto would be 15 to 20. Odriozola and Karsdorp would be probably free. Aldo Bonasso is saying Parisi for left back. Yeah. He looked good. He's looked good this year. Unholy Fun saying, Julian, if Inter bid for Bonucci 5 million, would you accept? Winter Mercado. Absolutely. Yeah, sell Bonucci to Inter for 5 million. I'd laugh. I would laugh hysterically if that was the case. Would Bonucci accept it? Probably not, but like I 100% would. Aldo's bringing up Zambrotta, which yeah, he turned into a fantastic fullback, but he was good defensively and gritty. Not sure about Illing Jr. in that sense. Again, we're gonna have to see. Let him play a few more minutes. Let him get more confidence. Let him come back from injury. Let's see. Anthony Loicano is bringing up Mudryk. I think Mihailo Mudryk's going to Arsenal. Real Madrid's going in for him too, so we're going to lose out on him. Dominique's bringing up some left backs. Yeah, we probably need a lot. Like again, if we're transitioning out of a 3-5-2, then we have to look at left backs definitely, and obviously bring up Davies. Yes, exceptional. I think Alphonso Davies, no bias here, is the best left back in the world. He can attack and he can defend and he can pretty much cover any slow center back in the world. Not that we have slow ones right now, but if we have, if there was the case, we could, or he could. Sorry, and then he brings up Borna Sosa from Stuttgart. And then, yeah. Anthony Loicano brings up a good point for Cambiaso. But again, he's the left-hand side. Could he play right back? Yeah, he could. But we already have one in the cooker with Cambiaso. So do you bring him in January if it's desperate? It wouldn't look good with it wouldn't look good with Bologna. But do we really care about our relationship with Bologna? I don't. So if we wanted to, we should probably we could bring Cambiaso in. Olaf is saying, who would you want as a Di Maria replacement? I actually have no idea because I don't know what we're looking to do in the future in terms of how we set up on the field. If we continue to do a 3-5-2 for the foreseeable future, I would like a secondary striker, a player who plays off a main center forward as Di Maria's replacement. Someone in the mold of Dybala, but not Dybala because for obvious reasons. Someone like Florian Wirtz. Obviously, we wouldn't get him, but that type of player. I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who's younger, who's established and young that's plays that role that's gettable. Similar to Florian Wirtz, who's not coming off an ACL tear. I'm trying to think. It's tough. It's tough to identify these players. Like a Marcus Edwards. Obviously, you don't want Marcus Edwards because he's coming from, like, you don't want... I don't know if Marcus Edwards would be the guy for Juventus, but players like that. Players who can play off the main center forward. Because Vlahovic is your main center forward. Unless you sell him too. Then I don't know. But Olaf brings up Raspadori would have been great. Yep. Can't bring him in, though, because he plays for Napoli. And they got him. Aldo brings up Romero from Lazio. Is he good? He was really crap against us, and then he scored the winner against Monza. I get it, but is he that good? Like the video, people. Like it. Let's see possession stats because this is a massive thing as well. Possession stats. We need to look because we see Cuadrado giving the ball away way too much. Look at the dribbles. Oh my days. Cuadrado's dribbling percent, 27.9%. You got Pedro Porro at 37.5. You got Frimpong at, yeah, you know what? The more I look at this, the more I want Frimpong. Because he'd be cheaper than Porro, but he's probably putting up just the same amount of numbers. Yeah, look at those. That's possession numbers there. 4 progressive receptions a game as well. So he starts out, or he receives the ball higher up than Cuadrado would. Yeah. Unholy Fun saying, yeah, Joao Felix, yeah. Yeah, that's the dream. Imagine Joao Felix playing off of Dusan Vlahovic. Max would be like, what the hell? These guys are too young. Who's going to tie their diapers? Hanin saying Chiesa is a wingback. I get it. And I really get it. I don't want Chiesa to play as a wingback. I think you're limiting what he could do and how effective he could be. That guy could pick the ball up anywhere on the field, I guess, and drive at you and create problems. Like, he got his assist as a wingback on Sunday against Lazio. But you could see defensively he was non-existent. Like, he was getting beat so many times defensively, even though Lazio wasn't really trying. That's a tough one. I need Chiesa up top or somewhere in the front line. Maybe he could play off the forward for now, and then we figure it out next year. And like Allegri needs to sort out what he wants. He said in the past that Chiesa could play up top. He has said that in the past. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's why it's an exciting time. to be a Juventus fan because we actually have no idea what's going to happen. We actually have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen in the future. We went from starting in a 4-3-3 to crumbling with that stuff and then bunkering down and playing a 4-4-2 and shitting ourselves in the Champions League and against Monza and Milan. Now we're doing a 3-5-2 not progressive, but a 3-5-2 on with proper wing backs and a proper technically gifted midfield, and we're being successful. We've gone through 3 different formations in 15 Serie A games and 6 Champions League games. You don't want that. No club wants that. That is unstable. He needs to figure out what works, and it seems as though the 3-5-2 is working. So if that's the case, if the 3-5-2 is working, plan for that. Because if we're planning a 3-5-2 and we go into the winter transfer market and you do add a player, you add a right winger. I haven't even talked about Marcus Thuram yet, by the way, who we've been linked to. Not by a good source, but we've been linked to Marcus Thuram. And Marcus Thuram, he is a striker, but like, why do we need another striker? You got Keane, you got Vlahovic, you got Milik. You don't need another striker. And he could also play on the wing. We don't need him as a winger. This is what I mean by plan. There's no plan right now. You need to buy players that are going to fit a system that we're comfortable in. That's how you should plan it. Obviously, you should plan a transfer window like that. That's why I think it's hard for these directors, managers. I think it's very hard for them to get players because Allegri doesn't know what he wants. Misak saying the plan is a fullback, wingback, all confirming. Great. Then you go attack Frimpong or Porro. If Porro's too expensive, you get Frimpong. If that's the case. Or even this Gusto kid. If these are the names linked. And in that case, you don't need to replace Di Maria with a winger because we're not playing with wingers. You go get a support striker. You go get a guy who can play off the number 9. Think back to Tevez playing off of Llorente. Tevez playing off of Morata. So it'll be interesting to see how we attack this Mercato, this winter one. Do we have money to attack it? Do we have an idea of what to do? Misak brings up Depay. Great shout. If you bring in Depay, what happens to Chiesa? What happens to... Because I agree with someone who's saying don't waste Chiesa as a wingback. I don't think defensively he'll be good enough. And we need him to be attacking opposing defenders. Realistically. Dominique Neuendorf is saying James Justin. That's a random shout, but like it's not bad. I prefer these 2 players on the top of the screens here. Don't really care about miscellaneous stats now. Yeah, okay. That was our break. That was our right wing back / right fullback breakdown. Just comparisons of players we've been linked to plus Quadrado because that's the standard that we have at the club. I saw. Oh, I'm down. Where are my comments? Allegri wanted a new center back when he arrived. Well, he got Bremer, but he's gonna. Yeah, I think we have to dip into the center back market. Absolutely. I don't want a Martin Caceres scenario, but that's probably the most likely scenario. If we do add a center back, not him specifically, but a player who will come in and be the 4th choice center back. Let's say. we won't be getting a starting center back in January, is what I'm trying to say. Daily Blint is saying Gabriel Jesus would have been perfect before he went to Arsenal. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But yeah, he would have been good. He would have been good. Hanin saying, for F's sakes, I don't want us to get stuck in a 3-5-2. Don't want to support striker. Get pacey wingers. You're the one who wanted Max Allegri to stay. Or you want to keep him in now. I'm actually going to say it. Like, this leads to my question at the end of the day. Before we wrap up, are we Allegri out or are we Allegri in? Are we Allegri out or are we Allegri in? Knowing what we've seen in the first 21 games this year, the last 6, yes, he's won Manager of the Month. Yes, we've gone 6-0, whatever it is, 12 goals for, 0 goals against in that time. I get it. Are we Allegri out or Allegri in? Because some people don't like the style still. Some people don't like whatever's happening. Hanin doesn't like 3-5-2. Let's not get stuck in it. I don't know where I think I'm still out, Allegri out, because why did you lose to Monza? Why did you lose to Maccabi? Don't tell me injuries. Like, those losses will never get out of my head. I can't. They're never leaving my head. So I don't care. Like, you're supposed to beat Inter. You're supposed to beat Lazio. This is my point. This is the point I'm trying to make is he's winning games, yes. But at the same time, you're winning games that you're expected to win because you're at home and you have a better team. Sorry, you have a better team than Lazio. Newsflash. Losing to Maccabi, losing to Monza, drawing Sampdoria, disgraceful. The way you set the team out, the way it took you so long to identify Moretti and Fagioli should start consistently over McKennie. Alejandro and myself have been saying for countless times, what the hell does McKennie do? Get someone else in there. And we have him and I'm going to speak for him because he's said this countless times. We have Fagioli lower on our list compared to Moretti, compared to Rovella and all them. Fagioli's done well. Good for him. He sees them at training every day. How does all of a sudden McKennie's injury allow Fagioli to start, and then how does he see this guy as the 7th choice center midfielder when you see the Fagioli and McKennie at training every day? That blows my mind. It actually and to set up in a 4-4-2 with McKennie as a right midfielder, that's crazy. That adds to my Allegri out. That adds to my Allegri out. Like, yes, during the now he should. I still think he should leave. He should still leave. I get people are saying, oh, but wait till the end of the season, see what happens. He should still leave. That's not how you run a team. You don't start less talented people when you have more talented people to play. And you don't start the less talented person in a formation where it doesn't make any sense. Right wing, Weston McKennie. That's unforgivable. It's unforgivable to lose to Monza. It's unforgivable to lose to Maccabi Haifa. I see people have like completely flipped the script here. Like, I was doing Allegri out things after the post-match reactions to Benfica, Monza, Maccabi. I was doing all those post games, and everyone's like, "Oh, Allegri out, blah blah blah." And now they're flipping the script here. Now they see, 6-game winning streak. We beat some good teams. All of a sudden, we're good now. Let's read some comments here, and then we'll go. Um, we're Allegri. Let's see at the end of the season. Ovarda saying out. Aldo saying Allegri till the end of the season, then assess. If he goes trophyless, he must go. Okay. Like, again, why do we wait? Why do we have to wait to see if we go trophyless? Hanin saying until the end of the season. Forza Juve saying Allegri out, no matter what, when we win Scudetto or not. We're not winning the Scudetto, people. I'll tell you that. 10 points is crazy. We're not winning the Scudetto. Unholy Fun saying, I'm Juventus win. I don't care if the dog manages the team if the team wins. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I agree with that. Umut says Allegri out. Daily Blend says it reminds me of Ole at United. Leicester saying that out. That that Champions League showing was a disgrace. Yeah. Drake saying, who would you choose to replace Allegri? Literally anyone with some type of pedigree. Or you buy out a coach that's up and coming, that has a system of play still, and that can get the best out of younger players, like Fagioli still, and you can galvanize the team. You buy them out. Do what Chelsea did. Are you smaller? Are you a smaller club than Chelsea? No. Do it. Although saying if we're undefeated until the end of the season, are you still Allegri out? That'd be crazy. If the football improves, and the football will have to improve if we're going to go undefeated for the rest of the season, then I'll be Allegri in. But until, the football won't improve under this coach. So I don't think that's a hypothetical the answer is yes, I'm Allegri in because the football will have to improve. Olaf saying get McKennie, Rabiot, and Paredes out in January. Yeah. Misak saying why though you want to change everything now when we get the cohesion started and an idea forming how to play and understanding in the summer. Sure, reassess and sack him if he fails. But if you have the chance to do it now and you saw the first half of the season, the first half of the season is still bad. We had 10 wins in 21 games. We still have less wins than losses and draws. That's still bad. This 6-game winning streak is all nice and dandy, but it's still the whole outlook is not good. I don't know. Aldo saying it is difficult to be so clear cut because some of the players perform better in training. So you're going back to my McKennie. Honey's saying, who do we got now? Got some, like I said, go buy out somebody. Unholy Fun saying Deschamps is coming. Oof. Olaf says, I think Allegri only works with world-class players. Aldo says, I was never Allegri out. I was just saying we should have some patience, but honestly, I was losing faith before this run. Cruz says, let's do an Allegri out poll. I can't. I don't know how to do that. I wish one of my other producer pals would be able to do it. Javi thinks we're going to win the Scudetto, which is crazy. Haas says, Pedro Porro and Pau Torres and Jen would allow us to push for Serie A. Yeah, maybe. Misak saying, why would you change? It's incredibly stupid to do it now when there's no one available of quality that we can get right now. I'm saying if we had the ability to go and pay for someone, I would do it. Why do you want to keep watching the Verona game? Why do you want to keep watching the Lecce game? Why do you want to keep watching Monza and all these games that we create nothing in and it's horrible and we don't win every game? If we're winning every game, no one would complain. No one would complain if we were winning every game. But we're not winning every game. We're not first place. We're out of the Champions League. So, if there's a chance to get someone who's better than Allegri, you do it now. I'm sorry. Narash says, sign him Titi, that let's get that J medical injury count up. Misak says, yes, but the Champions League campaign was bad. That's most of the bad, and that's why you assess at the end. Oh, man. People are accepting this now at this point. And I see only Luis Enrique as no one else that ticks the boxes. Okay, so what if a Luis Enrique from Spain, the Spanish national team coach, what if he's available? What if Spain lose in the group stage and he's available, let's say, December 2nd? Do you fire? Because that at that point, yes, you do. 100%, I agree with you. But like, there's a bunch of coaches that you can just pay out. Aldo saying, give us names. I'm not going to say Allegri out if I don't know who's replacing him. Okay, so 1, Luis Enrique. 2, Deschamps. Who else from a World Cup team? 3, Roberto Mancini. Go buy out the guy from Sporting. Hey, go out and get Tudor from Marseille. I'm not saying this purple patch hasn't been good. It has been good. But how long is it going to last for? How sustainable is this? Again, I have metrics that are going to be very clear to everybody here that the run is not as sustainable as people think. We haven't conceded a goal in 6 games. Do you think we're going to do that all season? Do you think we're going to have all the rest of the season? Do you think we're going to have a performance against Verona where we play like shit and we're going to win the game still? No. No, we're gonna have games where we play like shit and lose again. Like, and it's not gonna be as pretty on paper because it's not sustainable the way we're playing. Yes, the Lazio game we were good. The Inter game we were shit in the first half, very good in the second half on the counter. Against Verona we were shit, but we won. That's not sustainable. 1.5 games out of 3 is not sustainable. Anyway, we'll leave it there because I got to go. But thank you, everybody, for joining today. Stay tuned for the World Cup content on this channel. Stay tuned for all the other things we'll be doing, including a look at the halfway through, we'll say the halfway point of the season with defensive metric, all the metrics that go into it, all the analysis, all the stats, a deep dive into what's going well, what's not going well. And yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do all the fun stuff. Share the video if you want. Share it. And we'll see you next time. Ciao. I'm still Allegri out. I know you guys are more patient than I am, but we'll see you next time.